Taoiseach, yesterday you said something quite extraordinary. You said that the reason you're struggling to spend the housing budget is because the budget is so large. You then said the large budget, much of which is unspent, is evidence of your commitment to addressing the housing crisis. So your failure to spend the housing budget is now being used as evidence of your dedication to resolve the housing crisis. Taoiseach, how much longer can you keep trying to dress up failure as success? Do you really think anyone is buying this? This kind of bizarre and self-serving spin actually explains quite a lot about your inability to deal with the housing disaster. Though you're not alone in this. Pretty much every senior minister in your government repeatedly tells us that a record housing budget means the government is serious about solving the housing crisis. But we know that a whopping 25% of that budget, €1 billion, went unspent last year. Nearly 60% of renters are renting because they cannot afford to buy their own home. Increasingly, after 12 years of Fine Gael in government, they are losing hope that they will ever be able to afford a place of their own. They are relying on your government to meet its affordable housing targets, but you are failing them. Because those targets are not worth the paper that they are written on, they are being missed by a huge margin. Taoiseach, last year, your government said you would deliver 4,100 affordable homes, but just 323 affordable purchase homes were actually delivered. 323 in the midst of the worst housing disaster in the history of the state. This really is pathetic. Taoiseach, we know this government is not short on money, so allocating large sums to housing is not difficult. What you are short on is a housing plan that actually delivers for those at the coalface of the housing disaster.
The budget for housing has more than doubled in the last couple of years. And I think that's an important piece of context and an important fact that should be acknowledged by anyone who is discussing that matter, and I hope you agree with that. It would be a very different scenario if the budget had been cut and we'd been able to spend it all. So I think facts and context are important, and to talk about the budget being unspent, not to put it into the context of the fact that the budget has increased massively, doesn't give the full facts to the public, and I think the public deserve the full facts. And Deputy, if it was a matter of money, if it was solely a matter of money, if it was solely a matter of political will, or solely a matter of care and compassion, the housing crisis would have been solved a long time ago. Because there is no lack of money from government, there's no lack of political will from government, and there's no lack of care, concern or understanding. But there are very real constraints to building new homes in Ireland, ranging from planning objections, to planning permissions, to the availability of labour, to the supply of materials. Notwithstanding that, we built 30,000 new homes in Ireland last year, and more new social housing than any period since the 1970s, and will do as well, if not better again, this year. We don't expect there to be an underspend this year, and we are taking actions to make sure that that isn't the case.